Welcome back to my channel. It is me, Curly K Glam, and I'm here today to bring you episodes 6 through 10 on Grownish. Please be sure to check out my first 3 videos of me reviewing my 2-part video, season 1, and then the first 5 episodes of season 2. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of the show and what you think is going to happen next. Let me know your conspiracy theories. I am open. I am new to watching Grownish, and I like the show, and I decided that I'm going to review it before the new season comes out because I will definitely be giving a recap of the newer episodes. But we're going to start with episode 6 called Love Galore, and basically Zoe has already dropped out of the fashion design class. And so Luca's still in there. So her and Luca were in the same class, but she dropped the class. And she's basically struggling with her identity in college. She doesn't know what she wants to do. She knows that she wants to be in fashion, but she doesn't know what in fashion she wants to do. And Zoe and Luca are pretty much on their stride now. They're pretty much in love at this point. And so Luca tells Zoe that he tells Zoe that Michelle Obama is coming to their school to support the independent artists. And so she was going to be coming through the design lab to see all their designs. And so basically in this whole episode, Luca gets Zoe to come and help him with the designing of his clothes. But of course he's having like artist block where none of his designs, he doesn't like any of his designs. And so he's really hard on Zoe, even though, he's under the pressure. He's rude. He's not, I can say, yeah, he's rude to her. He's definitely rude to her. But she's trying to help. So she's trying to keep her patience and be supportive of Luca because, this is a big deal for him. So after that, Anna and Aaron are secretly flirting with each other behind, text. And they're doing it in public, but nobody's noticing because everybody knows that Anna and Aaron have this rapport of hating each other because they are the extreme opposites, especially when it comes time to beliefs and political views. In the past, they have had, quite a few disagreements about their views. And so for them to be coming around trying to have a fling is a whole nother thing. But basically at the end of this episode, Zoe leaves, and then Luca texts her and asks her to come back. And so she comes back, they get the design done, and then she throws her own little twist on it. She's starting to notice that she likes styling more so designing. She likes putting clothes together in comparison to actually making the outfit from scratch. And so the design, she helps him style the clothes, and then the next day when Michelle comes, she sees the outfit, loves the outfit. Luca gets Michelle to sign the shoe for Zoe, and then he gives Zoe the shoe at the end of the episode, and then she loves it. Next will be episode 7, which is Messy. And so basically, this was one of the more informative episodes. It talks about enthusiastic consent at on-campus universities. So basically, Cash, which is Zoe's ex-boyfriend, he decided to stay at Cal U another year because of Zoe. But of course, him and Zoe ended up not being together. So they're all at this party. Zoe speaks to Cash. Cash speaks to Zoe. They have a short conversation. Then Zoe goes back to Luca. But Cash meets this girl. It goes over the story of Cash meeting this girl at the party. They have a couple drinks and then they hook up. And the girl intentionally tries to hook up with Cash, but Cash doesn't know this at the time. And so fast forwarding, Cash and the girl hook up. The girl goes back and tells her friend. All the while, Cash definitely had her permission. They both mutually agreed to hook up. But it goes around campus that Cash is this monster that he wasn't. And so Cash sits down with the girl and was like, I'm sorry, if the other night was something that, wasn't supposed to happen. He was like, but I thought we were both on the same page. And she reassures him that they were. But now the whole gang is sitting down talking about enthusiastic consent and this new rule that the university passes. So all in all, they talk about basically, each step of hooking up with somebody, you're supposed to get permission each step. You don't want to make it seem like you're forcing yourself on somebody, especially when they're under the influence. Because under the influence, you ain't supposed to be doing that at all. Let's just make that clear. But they noticed that they have each hooked up with somebody while they were under the influence. And so basically they addressed that. But while they're addressing everything, Luca gets jealous for some reason and thinks that Zoe only cares about this whole thing because of cash. Luca... Is Luca insecure? I don't think he's insecure, but I think... I ain't gonna say he was jealous either, because they definitely were together. But I don't recall a time on GROWNISH when Zoe had to check Luca for talking to a girl or thinking, no, Luca didn't date anybody else on the show but Zoe. Okay, so anyway, that's what I'm saying. So Zoe ends up checking Luca and was like, I can't believe that you would really think that I would be disloyal to you when obviously, like, everything I do is for you at this point. Like, she's so into him, and for some reason, because she was going back and forth with Aaron in the beginning, and, Luca probably was like, I don't know, Zoe is a hot commodity on campus, all the boys want her. He got a little jealous. But she went out there and checked him for it, and she walked off, and he learned his lesson. He really did. But she ends up going back to the apartment with Nomi and Anna, and they end up talking about it. And Luca ends up coming back with some sodas and was like, I'm sorry, for everything I've done. I love you. Can I come in? And so they basically make up or whatever, and they're not mad anymore. So the next episode is Working Me, and basically Zoe decides that she wants to start styling, and her first two clients are the twins. So basically she finds them pieces and the twins hate them, and so she goes back and I guess gets them some bathing suits, and she takes a picture of them and puts it on Instagram and tags on it so that everybody can know their work. So at this point the twins were broke. They were broke college athletes, and they wanted some ways to have some revenue coming in, so they thought they would become Instagram models. And so basically at this point, the picture received so much negative attention. Negative attention. And all the boys are particularly flocking to Jazz because of her assets. And so Jazz likes the attention because she feels like this is going to bring them, high-end brands that are going to want them to sponsor. That are going to want to sponsor them and give them money. Doug is not okay with it, which I can understand, because if you really care about somebody and then they're put out on social media in a negative way and they're receiving this negative attention, you don't want that for your significant other. But I didn't like kind of when he was trying to tell her what to do. I mean, it's okay for him to voice his opinion, but he flat out was like, I don't want you doing this, and I'm not okay with it, and I didn't get with you for you to do stuff like that. Which I thought that was rude. He didn't have to tell her like that in that banner. He could have voiced his opinion in a different way that she could have received it better. But at this point, Jazz has her mind made up that she is going to continue to do this Instagram thing regardless of what kind of attention she's going to get, because she's not doing it for thirst trapping. She's doing it in order to make money. Sky, on the other hand, is completely off the attention. She hates the attention that she's receiving, and she doesn't want to do the whole Instagram thing anymore. So they end up going to hang out at Titanium, and basically a guy walks up to the twins and asks them, can they take a picture? Sky is not okay with it. She does not want to take a picture. Jazz ends up taking a picture, and he ends up feeling on Jazz, and Doug saw it. So Doug addressed him, and so basically they got into a huge fight at Titanium, and Doug ended up messing up his hand. And so everybody walks out of Titanium. But before the fight happens, Zoe tries to speak to Doug, and Doug was just like, I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like, he's so pissed at her. But anyway, so they get into the fight at Titanium. Doug and Jazz are out somewhere, I think in the lobby of the dormitory. She's bringing him ice, and he was just like, I don't need you to do anything for me. And she was like, well, what do you want me to do? And he was just like, you know what I want you to do? I don't want you to put yourself out there like that. You got too much going on for yourself to be trying to put out these thirst trap pictures. But Jazz disagrees. So it's not until Jazz has a conversation with Sky, where Sky tells her, Jazz, you see what happened tonight. I'm not for that. I don't want to do it anymore, and I'm not going to do it. So Jazz continues. So at this point, Doug is mad at Jazz, and this starts the riff of their first breakup. They didn't break up yet, but it is coming. So basically, I know y'all hear me say so basically in all my videos. Y'all put down in the comments how many times I say so basically in a video. That's so funny. But anyway, so basically, Zoe talks to Luca, and she was like, I don't like the negative attention that the twins are receiving, and I don't want my work to be known for bringing that kind of attention. I want to be known as a great stylist, because I'm taking, styling seriously. And Luca was like, well, if you're going to style people and you want them to take you serious, you have a chance to fix this. Just give her something else to wear. Like, find her another outfit, take her another picture, and put your work out there. So basically, Zoe ends up going with Jazz and tell Jazz that she has a different direction. And so the picture that Zoe and Jazz ends up taking the last time is a very tasteful picture, and it has, her running through the finish line, and she has on she's fully clothed, and she has all these sayings that people have said to her that, were basically against her, and she used it as her motivation to run her race. And that was it for my breakdown for episode 8. Episode 9 is called Body Count. This is when Luca has an art showcase, and Nomi, Anna, Aaron, and Zoe all go to Luca's showcase. And basically, they're looking at the art, and then they notice that the art is a girl laying down in a bralette, and they think it's Zoe. So Zoe's like, no, that's definitely not me. And so they're like, well, Zoe, it could just be anybody. It could just be something he made up. And so Anna asks him, and he was like, no, that's my ex-girlfriend, Juliet. And all of them lose their mind. So Nomi leaves. She goes to her LBGT events. She leaves everyone and goes to those events. And then Anna and Aaron decide to leave to go on a non-date to eat as friends for gourmet hot dogs. And so Anna is texting Zoe the whole time, wanting to know like how Zoe's feeling, if she asked Luca about, the picture and everything like that. And Zoe's telling Anna that she doesn't want to confront Luca about anything, and that, it's just, his ex-girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. So Anna decides to do this Anna convinces Zoe to do this deep dive. So she is going through all his social media to find out when the last time him and Juliet had communication, the last time they took a picture, and I can relate. Every girl has done a deep dive. Every girl has put on their private investigator shoes, child, and have gone through the social media, looking through comments, looking to see if they friends, see if they like anybody's pictures. Everybody has done that. And so during this deep dive, while Anna's telling Zoe everything to do, Aaron is just looking at her in total shock, like, are you serious right now? Like, y'all seriously do this? And she was just like, well, I haven't done it to you, but they like each other, okay? And they've been talking, they've kissed a few times, but they like each other. So, it's not until after Zoe does a deep dive, she makes the number one amateur mistake that you do not do when you're doing a deep dive. You do not like anything. And she double tapped Luca's picture, and so she went back and tried to unlike it, but then she done psyched herself out. I just would have went back and untapped it, and then he would have slid the notification, and boom, he would have saw that maybe I tapped it, maybe I didn't, I don't know. And it wouldn't have been there, and he would have just, thought he was tripping or something. I would have untapped the picture. She went and freaking liked all his old photos. So now she's looking like a cyber stalker at this point. So Luca walks out and she confronts him about everything. And so she asked him, she was just like, I want to know everything. He was like, about what? She was like, I want to know everything. I shouldn't have to go looking for anything because you don't want to tell me anything. So at that point, she was insecure, but that was her own fault. If you're going to do the deep dive like Anna said, you do the deep dive to find out information. You do not do the deep dive to get your own insecurities, It makes perfect sense to me. I've done it. I can't say that I didn't do it. I mean, I was young then, I'm old now, and I'm married. So I don't have to worry about no deep diving, but she basically was insecure at this point. So she's asking Luca all about his past life, about Juliet and everything. And she asked Luca how many people Luca been with. Luca talking about some ballpark. Oh my God. I can't even imagine talking to somebody I like and I ask how many people they've been with and they be like, ballpark. Ballpark what? What do you mean? Ballpark. So I was like, I only been with 2 people. 1, 2, those. And she was like, I can count on my fingers. You can't count on your fingers. So at this point, she found out that Luca was a whore. Let me stop. That Luca has been experienced and that she just couldn't handle it. Like, her pride couldn't handle it. So, bruh, oh my God. Anyway, so she leaves and she goes home. She talks to Anna. Anna tells her, well, you can't be insecure because Luca is around you all the time, and so is Aaron. And so it was like, so what about Aaron? She was like, yeah, me and Aaron might have, flirted or whatever, hung out a few times, and kissed, but me and Aaron ain't like that. Like, Luca don't have nothing to worry about. We were never in a relationship. And so in Anna's mind, the light clicks for her, and she's just like, well, they were never in a relationship, so I guess that gives me free will to talk to Aaron. Child. She left that room, and while she was on the way there, Aaron was cyber stalking her, liking all her pictures, and they ended up having this wild hookup after that. And Luca, of course, came back to Zoe's apartment, trying to find Zoe, telling her, like, whatever you want to know. He was like, I process my hurt through art, and you process your thinking through questions. Ask me anything you want. So at that point, he was open book. But after Zoe had deep dive and she done found out too much, her pride couldn't handle any more news. Girl, I would have sat there and took all the tea, all that he wanted to give me. I would have been like, please, spill it. Tell me everything. I mean, at that point, shoot. You done already did deep dive, child. You done already went through all his stuff. You might as well just let him give you a little background, since you want to know. But she didn't want to know. So she just let that be that, and that was the end of it. That was the end of it, child. So, and this is like legit when Aaron and Anna start legit. They won't get serious, but they was taking their situationship to the next level. Last but not least, episode number 10, Wildin' Cause I'm Young. This episode was basically boring. A whole lot of bad decisions was made on Zoe's part, which was crazy. But it's typical. A lot of college students do it. You get to the end of the semester. Yeah, you get to the end of the semester. You got these exams. Everybody is stressed out, pulling their hair out at this point. But it's a whole lot of end of the year parties. And so she goes to the end of the year party. Number 1, she's drinking. But she thinks because she got a breathalyzer that she can monitor her blood alcohol level so that she won't get that inebriated. Mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, she sets a timer so she can know how long. She was like, I'm going to stay at the party for 10 minutes, then I'm going to go home and study. Mistake number 3, if your exam is anything in the sciences, you take your tail home to study, okay? Trust me. I went to school, child, and I was a science major. I went to parties my first 2 years because I went to a PWI, and then I didn't like that PWI, and so I left and I transferred and went to another PWI. So at my first PWI for undergrad, I went to all the parties. I didn't do hardly no studying. I winged it. Like my first 2 years, I winged it. I passed. Now I did get into some academic trouble a little bit, but after I had to do just like Zoe, I had to write my little appeal to the board so I can come back to school, and then I made my grades. My grades went back high. I ain't cheated nothing like that. I just had bad grades that time. Zoe cheated, which was wrong. But when I got to my second PWI, trust and believe me, there was no social meetings for me. Your girl was in her room studying them sciences, especially chemistry. Look, when I transferred to my second PWI, I know this ain't got nothing to do with GROWNISH, but I can relate. When I got to my second PWI and I got them science classes, I had a tutor for every science class because your girl was not getting on academic probation. She had to graduate, okay? She had to graduate. But anyway, Zoe basically ends up, because she's having too much fun, she just stayed out all night. Anna and Aaron are together, and Naomi is out there sneaking with that nasty professor. Stop. Naomi is out there sneaking around with that professor, but don't nobody know about her yet. But she out there perusing the streets with that professor. And Anna is out here ducking and dodging with Aaron. And so Zoe done left her card to get in the apartment building in her room. So basically she got to go all the way back to the party to get the card from Anna so that she can get in. So Anna give her card. She go in and she try to study. Vivek tells her that she'll be able to pass the test. At this point, Vivek is a genius. Vivek is a computer engineer, technology major. And Aaron was like, are you nuts? You better go home and study, girl, because if you don't, you're going to fail. And Zoe wakes up the next day, takes her chemistry exam, looks in her booklet, realizes that she doesn't know anything because she didn't study. She doesn't know not one thing. So Zoe, this child of God, takes her pencil and drops it on purpose, tells the person in front of her to get it, takes her phone out, takes a picture of his exam sheet, pulls her phone out, gets the pencil back, and fills out all the bubbles to her test. Zoe done cheated. Now she done copied that boy answer for answer, which was stupid. Like, why would she do that? Anyway, so she copies all his stuff, and she goes home to her apartment, and she's waiting on the test results. And this is when the teacher notices that Zoe has had the same answers as somebody else, and that she cheated. And then she turned her into the board, and Zoe has to go before the board. She has to go to court at school to see if she's going to get kicked out or not. And that's the beginning of Anna trying to tell Zoe. It was multiple attempts that Anna made trying to tell Zoe that her and Aaron was messing around. But, of course, it didn't happen like that. And that's the end of episodes 6 through 10. I'll be back, y'all, with the rest of the episodes. I'm going to do 11 through 15 and then 16 through the rest. Curly Cake Lamb on Instagram and Twitter. Follow your girl. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back with more videos. Deuces.